Let's start with a few up and down. And just turning the head. Forming fists and a few twisting. And the hands behind, just gripping the hands, pulling the shoulders right back and rotating the head. Change direction of the head. Just hands on the hips and rotating the whole back. And the other way. And then a few gripping into the down chin, so just tightening the muscles in the belly. Pulling in and then pushing out. Tightening and not just relaxing, but pushing out. And then just relaxing it into slow breathing. and turning with it a bit, opening to the corner, closing back to the front. Trying to get some flexion in the lumbar spine. And reaching, pulling in the rope. The external aspect is what the body is doing, and the internal aspect is what you're feeling. So we've just set up some external mechanism and then just relax the mind and feel what's happening. Thinking doesn't come into it. Thinking is a very specialized use of the mind designed to solve immediate problems. So most of the time it shouldn't really be used. One should be with the feelings instead of the thoughts. So becoming a sensual creature rather than a thinking one. Let's reach up and down. Let the spine bend. and a few pushing to the sides, and just twisting more now. Pulling one hand behind and strong twist, just gently breathe it round. Trying to get some twisting in the lumbar spine as well as the upper back. Let the head and the eyes go further. So you're looking at the wall behind. Slowly release. Slowly release. And another pair. Slowly release. And one more. And then round to the front. Now let's bring the hands up and out. And then one hand over. And the turning the head and twisting the arms. It's the beginning of getting into the figure of eight. And then bringing the hands in until it becomes the figure of eight exercise. Still turning the head. And then gradually winding it down. Until it's two little figures of eights in the dantian. Now let's rub the hands and do the eyes. Over the eyes. And the hands up and out. Now, keeping the head still, look to the left and then look to the right. Feel the energy following the eyes. Then keeping the eyes still, just start snaking the hands. Aware of this movement in the peripheral vision. Now just bring the hands up and touch very, very lightly the skull, the head. And then, like you're trying to encourage it to expand. Like you're using the hands to suck something from the brain. And then slowly bringing the hands down into the Dhyana Mudra. Just imagine a large underground cavern. There's a little opening in the roof, so there's a bit of light coming through. At the bottom of this cavern, there's a pool. In the middle of the cavern, there's a little firefly trying to flutter upwards to the hole in the ceiling. So being drawn by the light. So it's fluttering upwards, but its own heaviness and weakness is making it sink as well. So it's sort of hovering. If it could, it would break out of its body, so it wouldn't be hindered by it, and then it would just soar straight up. So we are the cavern, really. So the Danchen, the lower Danchen, is like the pool at the bottom. And then this space above our head, extending upwards, is like the hole in the roof. And the firefly is just the heart, the flame of the heart, the flickering flame of the heart, trying to reach upwards. Let's try a bit of the butterfly. Okay, let's just try a bit of kneeling. And then into the fetus. So from prayer, reaching up and inclining. Keep the spine straight as long as you can, and then let it extend into a curve. and back up, separating the feet a little and sitting down on the floor between them if you can. And then into the fetus again. So prayer, up, and extending into the down. And up. And now let's just lie back and do the cycling with the legs just to open the hips. First of all, just pulling the knees up to get the sacrum to peel off the mat. And then a few breaths to relax the sacrum back down onto the mat. Even if it doesn't go down, it feels like it's moving down. And now just cycling, doing anything really, moving the legs, trying to open into the groin. And then pulling the knees up again, up and out a bit. Then one leg straighten down, and then holding the knee that's up with the opposite hand and work it across the body as you turn the head the other way. Your head is looking down your free arm. Just be gentle and careful. And then back. Bring the other knee up and the bent knee, send it down. Opposite hand on the knee. Pulling the knee across. Trying to keep the shoulders on the mat. Back. And then another pair. We do everything twice. And then back around. And one more. Pulling both knees up and out, and a few breaths to relax the sacrum. And then rolling until you're on all fours, and then just round. And then just a few seconds in the squat. start with the bouncing. Making the legs springy and rubbery. And opening across here especially. The sacroiliacs at the back are softening, and these points here, like if someone was to push their fingers in here, you could just swallow their fingers into the joint, into the hip joint. And then alternating the hands. So it's now moving you side to side a little bit, but also turning you. And then extending the feet a little bit. And a little wider still. And then just into your riding horse. Again, this sense of widening. Imagine your horse is getting fatter and fatter. And now let's try that circuit. The flow of gravity down through the body. The moisture evaporating from the ground, forming a cloud over your head and raining down over you. down the spine. So you have to go one at a time to get through the sacrum. So it passes across into one hip and then into the other hip, and then it can continue down to the ground. So there's this little wriggle to get it from the spine into the hips and the legs. Back into riding horse. So we have that aspect of gravity, the flow of energy, the flow of feeling really through the body, the sense of something sinking and melting down. And then we have the presence, almost metallic presence of the sacrum. And that's quite inert, so it's sort of alive in a different way than the rest of your body. And that is just hanging there. So the sacrum wants to be still. The rest of you wants to move. So it's very much the center of the sacrum. And now let's come off the heels. So bringing the heels up. Turn the palms to face out. So now a very different energy, higher frequency. There's a wobble, there's a tremble, there's a shake, sort of the nerves, this. It's sort of tingly, charging up. And then put the heels down, but one at a time. So one goes down, and then the other one goes down. And you're back into riding horse with the weight predominantly in the heels, and just feel how this is like breathing rhythm, slow, sort of slow, long energy. So let's just try a little few breaths just to get into this. So this is like earth energy, so it's slow. Everything is wanting to slow down. And now it's come off the heels again. So now this is more spirit. So here it's like everything is wanting to get higher and higher frequency. It really begins to buzz after a while. Feel the presence of the sacrum just stabilizing this. Like the sacrum is like the keel of the boat. It's heavy, it's made out of metal, and it stabilizes the mast, which is your spine. And then the heels down again, one at a time. So down, down. The heels just earth that high frequency energy out of you, and you just get into earth time, earth rhythm, like a really slow breath. And then one more coming off the heels. So it should feel wobbly, like it's about to explode or fall over at least. And then rocking back onto the heels. 1, 2, and just a few breaths. And then just back to riding horse. Feel the sacrum especially gleaming between your legs. So up and down, pulling the chair upwards to get the flow of energy down. So get the energy established first, feel it, and then let your body go with it. And then pushing the chair down, something will flow up, and I can allow my body to follow it. Just looking at the lightness of mood that is required to feel and respond to energy. Yeah, so you can come off the heels as you go down. Otherwise, you have to lean forwards a bit too much. And a little bit wider, and moving the body side to side. And then bringing the feet pretty much together. Still a bend in the legs. Using a pushing and pulling action to twist the body, turn the body. So if I push with my right hand forwards, it will move my right hip back. So in other words, I will turn to the right. And then I can pull with that hand and it will pull the hip towards the hand. And then pushing. Okay. Now let's just try coming onto the toes, just using the chair for support really, if you need it. Lifting the heels as high as you can and just hold it for a few seconds. And then down one at a time, so under control, and then pulling the toes up, so rocking back onto the heels. Onto the toes. So keep the legs bent. If anything, the legs bend more when you bring the heels up. And then down one at a time. 1, 2, and lifting the toes. The best place to do this is on a flight of stairs, so standing on a step with your heels overhanging. And then you can just let the heels right down. And down and pulling the toes off. Lifting the knee to the side so it has to clear the chair. And then this one. And let the spine lean, tilt. Let's put the chair back. And then let's just turn. So let's turn from the hips. So if you have your hands on the hips, then it helps keep the shoulders and the hips in line. And then turning, like you're using your arms to turn yourself further than your hips really want to go. I'm pushing with this hand to get myself round. Keeping the legs relaxing. Otherwise, this leg will pull around with the hip. So as I push the hip, I want the feeling that the leg is being released. So the feet stay flat on the floor. The first warm-up exercise now. So it's the same thing. You're trying to turn from the hips, but the momentum of the arms just takes the shoulders a little bit further. So there's a twist as well as a turn. We just want to feel that. So there's a sense that the turn comes from the legs and the ground, but the twisting of the spine comes from your head wanting to see something that's behind you. Let's try a little bit of this one. Again, the heels never quite go down. The weight doesn't go into them anyway. Even if they touch the ground, the weight stays in the front of the foot. So it feels precarious all the time. So it's just this exercise from Wing Chun. Now you're blocking someone and then you're striking them. So the elbows don't really move. You're just pivoting around them. So you have to turn. Otherwise, your elbows will move side to side. If this just relaxes and softens, it becomes the figure of eight. So that's how the figure of eight came about. So the slow jog. So now it's sort of got more into the longer energy, like it's wanting to slow down into a halt. And then riding horse again. This openness here. Okay, now let's move from leg to leg. So sinking into the spring of the leg, feeling the energy being returned and letting the body go with it. It's like a wave of brightness comes up from the leg. And it's so good, I go with it. But this is the spirit within you becoming activated and wanting to rise and express itself. So the sinking into the leg stimulates it, and then it rises up from the ground. So the way the Chinese explain it is like there's a little bit of spirit trapped in the ground, and your sinking connects to it and allows it to flow up through you and go upwards, which is where it belongs. So I just create this clear channel. So I have to be of bright mind and spirit myself, otherwise it won't pass through. So I have to encourage it. It's like I'm talking to it all the way up. So come on, you can do it, you can do it. Way. Then into riding horse again. So we just want to stay in riding horse long enough to get the sacrum in the right position. So when you come back to riding horse and doing something else, there's a tendency of you're sort of looking down a bit to sort of compose yourself. And then you just let the sacrum drop a little and swing forwards. And then suddenly this is opening to the sky. And now let's try pulling with the leg. Let's do 1 foot forwards, because if anything, it's easier to feel. So just this exercise. I'm straightening the leg and then I bend it. So this is the spirit outside calling you. Something over there calls me, and it just stimulates that break in the knee, the bend in the knee. And that is enough to start me moving. So the knee is bending, obviously, but I want to really feel it bending in the hip. So the knee bends, my hip drops, and then the groin just feels like it's being pulled open. And then if you can, if you've got the energy for it, just let the bending of the knee lift the heel a little bit. So you really are moving into lightness rather than out of heaviness. So the other way of moving, bouncing out of the leg, you're springing out of the heaviness. Here you're being attracted by the lightness, like the firefly being attracted by the light coming in the roof of the cavern. So pull, and I get drawn towards the foot. I pull and Just feel this. It's like it's wanting to pull open here. Okay, let's try a little bit with the other foot forwards. So just set it up first. So the bit of the form that we did last time. So the legs are a little bit bent. Also sinking into one of the legs, stepping out with the other, and then embrace, embrace, and bring in. So now you're mostly in the leg you just stepped with. Relax the wrists, sweeping up the person's body, and then stroking down your own body with the backs of the hands. And let's go the other way. Sinking into the leg. Yes, remember, always circling, just so you get this joint open here. And so when we come into the leg, if you just bring the weight into it ignorantly, then this will just crush closed. So I want it to open up. So this is why the knee and the heel coming off the ground is so important. So imagine these two people in front of you. Reach behind one of them, and then you reach behind the other, and just bring them in as though you're bringing them into your own body. And relax the wrists. See this person in front of you. So your mind is reaching a lot further than your arms are. And then you just see the loop coming up and down your own body. And again. So round, I want to get this open. So there has to be this sort of action. So round into the outside edge of the foot, picking this foot up, stepping out. Remember, it's an empty step. This arm embraces, cuddles the person in. This one cuddles the other person in. And I now contain these two people. Relax the wrists, keep the shoulders relaxed as the arms come up. So they come up with the spirit or the mind, not with the muscles. Yes, it's like before I put the weight in it, I have to sort of just make sure it's just really loose. And then it's like this looseness is what pulls me down and into the foot. Embrace, embrace. So just feel how big your heart has to become to contain these two people. And now this is really direct. If you've got one person in front of you, just sweep up their body and then down your own body. And you can just sink as much as you want here. Mind is out there, further than your hands. And then you come right inside and just see this flow down your back. Let's try again and put on ward off left. The leg you're coming into is just really loose. It's the bending of the knee that activates me coming into the leg. It's not, the knee doesn't bend because I'm bringing the weight into the leg. The knee bends because it contains spirit and that pulls my body into it. Really reach out, let the mind go much further than the hand can go. Now just imagine this hand coming in. If you're yielding with your right, then they're attacking with their right. So you just turn so that your right hand reaches forwards, weight in the opposite foot. Put your hand on top of the person's arm and then yielding, turning the toes out instantly because you want to get into this foot as soon as possible. So this thing of doing this is just doesn't work. If you watch Chen and Ching and Yang Shoujiang doing this posture, it's very simple. They just reach out and then they come forwards. And that's what we want to make it, because there's no way you're going to get into this foot or step with it if you do this, because you're just going to get trapped in it. And it just feels too much like avoidance. You're more like the matador getting out of the way of the bull than you are actually drawing a person into your maelstrom. I've got most of the weight here. I put all the weight there as I reach out. And then as soon as I start turning here, I'm sort of opening up this space, but I want to be getting into this right foot almost instantly. So it has to turn out as I'm coming into it. And then this foot just pops out. And then you can bring the person up and then down. So just really simple. Reaching out with the right, weight in the left, and now turning. So you're sort of making this space, but you're getting into this right foot almost instantly. But without doing this, you've got to make this hole, but be draw. Again, it's the foot pulling. The foot is drawing you into it. So you're yielding, getting out of the way of this person, and this foot is pulling you into it at the same time. Hand on top of their arm, and then yield. And just feel here like you just really snug. You've really got close into their body. So your step forwards and your lift with the ward off is just a response to them pulling back. So imagine you're yielding them in here. The last thing they expected was this hole that you're creating. So they just get into a panic and they try and pull out. And you just follow and bring them up. So whilst they're attacking you, it says in the classics, when you attack the master, it seems like they're miles away from you. But when they attack you, it's like they're on top of you. So I'm reaching forward, I'm just creating this space, but at the same time, I'm sneaking into this foot. Now they pull out, and I just step right through them almost. So they're here, and I've almost stepped behind them, and then I just have real control. But you want the feeling that that step is being drawn out of you by their retreat. Yield. And just feel them retreating. You've got so much contact with them physically. This right arm is on top of their right arm. This left arm is underneath on their torso and the lower part of the arm. As soon as they start retreating, you'll feel it, and you'll just go with it and lift them up. It'll just be natural. So that's the sticking. So sticking is such an important component of yielding. But it's a really meaty sticking, like you're trying to get as much surface contact with the other person as possible. It's not this light hand sticking. Okay, let's try again. So I turn and I am pulling into that foot. And then I just step because they retreat, and then I lift them up by straightening my spine, and then I just drop down into this left leg and pull down with the right hand. Let's try a bit on the other with the other leg. Left hand is entering on top of their left arm. I'm pulling it through. So I'm sort of creating space here, but at the same time, I'm coming into this left leg. So that's the tricky bit, if you like. And then just feel them withdrawing. So you just step through them, lift them up, and then pull them down. It's all coming from the turning. So just feel that. So I'm turning this way, and then I just turn back, and that's enough to get them to come up. So remember, the turning happens before the weight transfer. This is Chen Manqing's big secret. So the first thing that happens is you turn your waist. I turn the waist, and then I turn the other way, and I step, and then I turn the waist, and then I come forwards. Okay, let's try just two from the beginning. So first I'm going to step that way. So this is the loose leg that I need to begin with. So it bends, the heel goes down and it bends, and that pulls me into it. And then this foot can just become really loose and lift. And now just see this right hand coming towards you. So when you do it with another person, when we practice the applications, it's almost a sense that the other person is nowhere near you when you do the posture, so that you really have to extend the mind out. My mind reaches for this arm, and I'm already yielding to it before I've even contacted it. Stepping this direction. So this is the loose leg. So it pulls me into it. I step. Now just imagine these two lovely people. You just slip your hand around one of them's waist and then slip your hands around the other one's waist and just bring them in. They sort of inhabit your body for a moment. And now there's someone else in front of you, just sweep up. So when we practice this, the other person's quite a distance away. So it's all the mind. And if they do it well, then the person can feel it. They can feel this flow up their body from the other person's mind. And now this left hand is coming in, but they're still some way from me. My mind reaches the hand. My mind yields to the hand. My right hand is coming in to nestle into their body. And then I lift them up, and then I sink into the front leg and pull down with the right hand. That's the look of ward off left. You know, it looks like you're almost sort of sideways on a bit. That's how Cheman Ching and Yung Shou Jung look. So the legs bent just a little, because we never want to lose this flow down the body. That's there all the time. It's melting, soft like ice about to melt. And the mind is flowing down through the body. It's like the stronger you can get that, it's like it just collects more and more downward energy. So you become a carrier all the time for energies around you. So I'm trying to get the spirit in the ground to lift up and pass through, and I'm trying to get the earth energy that's trapped in the sky, gravity, pulling down through me. And mind in Dan Chen, like this just little anchor of stillness that allows the hips, the groin, the sacroiliacs, perineum to relax. Just let go. And then the tip of the tongue and the roof of the mouth, which is the same sort of idea. Just a point of stability which allows the head to expand. That's the levity. It's the action of the heavens, the sky, the expanse of the sky, just trying to get everything to pull and vaporize, evaporate. That's the lightness. The softness is the melting. The lightness is the evaporation, the steam, the water becoming steam. And then if you need to, just breathing through the small hole, just to connect with the breath. So in meditation, they're always coming back to the breath as a way of taking them out of the thinking mind. So I want to just feel the air coming in and then feel the air flowing out. So that's what my mind is with. My mind isn't with thinking, with thoughts. And then the eyes softening, the eyes blurring, hooding, sense that the eyes are sinking inwards and they're nestling into the back here. And that's stimulating energy to be released from the occiput and come round. And the mind is just going through those directions all the time.